So let's talk about escorting. So you wrote about escorting in your blog post. Escorting was good for me.
Mm.
How did you get into escorting?
I was working at I quit camming because I was burned out, and I was like trying to work at a friend's startup, and it was hard for me. It's difficult for me to work on projects that are not my projects. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. Like, I want to go back to sex work. I want to make more money, but I don't want to cam anymore because I'm burned out. So I'm like, well, let's try. I had a friend who was an escort. I'm like, let's try that. And so we had a call. She like outlined the basics for me, and then I put up some ads and started working.
What's the basics of escorting? How does that work?
If you want to get started escorting, so just in case you have a career change, you're gonna want to get some nice photos. So you probably already have those.
First of all, you assumed I haven't done it before. How rude!
Have you?
Yeah. Well, recreation. I would like to do it professionally, I suppose. So if I wanted to do it, if I really want to step up my game, how would I do it?
Yeah. Well, you got the whole tutorial. Recreational escorting is just okay.
No, meaning like selling products on Etsy versus doing a startup. Yeah.
Well, I mean, escorting is kind of all just selling products on Etsy.
No, but selling a lot of products on Etsy.
like high volume. You've like dabbled.
Volume. Yeah. Yeah.
Small handcrafted.
It's small handcrafted
artisan
dolls. Yeah.
Escorting.
Versus mass manufacture.
Okay, if you want to mass manufacture your escort.
I just feel like I haven't been getting, I've been undervaluing my services, and I would like to really step up.
I think you could really just like grease some marketing gears and be charging.
Yeah, I mean, so some of this is marketing. So like I guess I want to know, is it similar to camming in that way? Like, is it, you're basically advertising yourself and you're, like the marketing, all the creativity that you mentioned before, all of that?
Yeah, I found escorting to be pretty easy because escorting is not like highly competitive. For example, camming is highly competitive because like the thing that I outlined before, the amount of money that you make determines your ranking. And you can also go and see other girls. You can see what they're doing. So if a girl figures out an incredible strategy for making money, it's like 2 seconds before that strategy proliferates into everybody else. So it's very fast paced and like really tough. With escorting, you don't get to see what other girls are doing. You can look at their websites, but like you don't know what they're doing with clients at all. You can look at their rates, but you don't know what their volume is. So you don't actually know what is successful and what isn't very much. So I think there's much less like evolution of marketing through this process. And so I came in with like my aggressive marketing skills for being a cam girl. I think that really helped. I did very well as an escort. I just came in and like made a fantastic website. I knew how to do the ads right. And
what was the finding people? I guess is it also like finding the right kind of customer?
Yeah.
The right kind of client.
I got like in a lot of trouble for this recently in the sex worker sphere because I said that if you raise prices, you're more likely to encounter clients that aren't going to abuse you. Like it's safer.
Yeah.
They did not. They said that I was being classist, implying that poor people are more violent. But to be fair, if you're a guy and you want to be violent towards a woman, you're probably not going to be paying her a lot of money. You're probably going to you're the kind of person likely who's going to haggle a lot because you don't respect her.
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, it's a little pet peeve for me. Yeah, I started charging $800 an hour, and then pretty rapidly raised it to $1,200, and then a while after that, raised it to $1,400.
Well, the interesting thing you mentioned in my extensive research, you used to do $1,200 to $1,400 an hour, and then you said that you're thinking of jumping back in at a rate of $2,400 the first hour.
Yeah,
and I think $900 each successive hour. That's interesting. That's like that. I mean, to me, that's really interesting. Like the first, like why? It's like
why
a lot in the
discrepancy?
first hour. Yeah.
Oh, it's just because it's like depends on how you want to incentivize like the amount of hours. So if you have to pay a lot for the first hour, but not very much for the successive, you're more likely to buy like a longer period of time. And usually, I find that clients who buy a longer period of time are nicer to you. Mm-hmm. I don't have like a great theory for why that is, but they're more likely to like take you to dinner and get to know you first. And I just enjoy that a lot more. I enjoy like knowing who I'm going to have sex with. Like a date,
Yeah, so it incentivizes the long form date dynamic versus like not. That's really interesting. How does money change the dynamic? Just basic human dynamic of interacting for free versus for money. Like I think about that a lot because like just talking to rich people, it's like you usually get paid for your time. and you're doing this for free. Like what? Like what's the difference? Is there a difference really, or no?
A bit, yeah. So it depends a lot. So when I was doing it full time, it was my only source of income. It changed quite a lot because I was really incentivized to have repeat customers. So I'm like, okay, if my primary interaction with you is to like have you hire me again, I will do whatever that takes to make that happen. And so if I have to like laugh at jokes that I don't find funny or like be like more adoring of your penis than I actually genuinely feel, like that's what I'm going to express.
Yeah.
And obviously it's to some degree like titrated, like it's unpleasant to force yourself to like something that you don't. So like I would actually like not see clients again that I didn't want to, but it's just some degree there was this sort of self-suppression going on, which I think is the way it works in any sort of customer service job. Like you want the customer to leave happy, so you just make sure that you are happy the whole time, and you're like, really enjoying the other person. But so recently, when I've like kind of dabbled in it since making money through other means, where I don't need the money, it's more like a fun side thing that I'm like I said, it's fulfilling the role of casual sex for me. So like I don't have to do it. This is not my primary job. I just want sort of a good excuse to like have sex with somebody, and the money is like a great filter for that. And so in that case,
that's interesting. So the money is just, okay. The money is basically a filter for somebody who's taking this interaction seriously.
Yeah. It also, so there's an interesting like psychological thing where I have difficulty having casual sex with somebody because some part of my brain, which I assume is like quite female, is doing some evaluation of status and whether or not this is going to damage my reputation by having sex with them. So like if you found out that I went and like had random sex with like a homeless man, you might be like, wow, that says something about Aella. Like maybe she's, trashy, or she just has no standards for who she's going to fuck. And so some part of me is continually anxious. I'm like, does this mean I have no standards if I decide to have casual sex with you? Like, what are people going to think? And so if you introduce money, it takes away that anxiety. I don't have to worry about it because it's like, oh, of course Aella would have sex with that person. They paid her. Like, this is not an indication of the kind of mate that she can get. This is just an indication of like a business transaction. And this allows me to enjoy casual sex so much more when somebody pays me for it, to the degree that like I almost view it as a kink. And so it's like, so I'm using it sort of to replace casual sex now. Like occasionally I'm like, just pay, like it's pay me a little bit to erase the anxiety and I'll like have a fun time.
I mean, can't you see like dinner like that or something like that if the person pays for dinner? Or like, so like it's all just, if any money's involved, if it's a kink, then you could just like use it and you buys a coffee at a Starbucks. It's like, all right.
Right, but it has to be plausible. Like you have to like trick my brain into like having it actually be incentivizing for me.
Two coffees? Like a cappuccino or something? Or
yeah, what? Like, the homeless man bought me a coffee and then I sucked his dick. Like that's not cool.
All right. So
no shade to homeless men, by the way. Like I've been friends with a lot of them. I'm just using like some sort of stereotype of right now.
So like it has to be plausible where you could trick your mind. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And so that's different. So now in this sort of frame, I am still like, I'm accepting money, but still much more expressive of my actual preferences. So like before when I would start escorting full time, I was suppressive. And now I'm like, fuck it, like I'm doing this for me. So we're going to make sure that I have a good time. And so I'm much more demanding.
And then you're having more fun because you're not pretending, like laughing at a joke or something like that. That sounds terrible. Sounds like,
I mean,
but it's also like social. I mean, I guess I would I do that? Like when you first meet people, like strangers and so on, there's some aspect of like niceties, but like, I don't know, intimacy, like real intimacy requires like getting past the niceties. Like laughing at somebody's joke when it's not funny feels like anti-intimacy.
Yeah, but I laugh at so many jokes automatically. Even it's interesting because like I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be fake. But like if I'm in a group of people and somebody makes a joke and everybody laughs, I laugh even before I'm checking within myself. Like, do I genuinely enjoy this joke?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like the degree that I am sort of just like a result of social programming in all cases. That like when I'm with a client back when I was doing it full time, like it doesn't feel significantly different. It just felt like a different version of myself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, to that degree, to the degree you don't feel like you're going against your nature. Yeah. Yeah,
it was very rare that I actually felt like I was going against my nature.
What about the market of how much to charge? So 2,400, like how transparent is that market? Is there like a market?
Like how much can you sell when you're charging that much?
Yeah, no, like what are the competitors? Like if this like what are you distinctly what, because you said it's a lot of it is a bit more shrouded in mystery. Like it's a more confidential. Like, do you have some transparency to the market, what the competitors are?
I did a survey of escorts. It's only like 130. I'm trying to remember. And the median was around like $300, I think, an hour.
Oh wow.
Something like that, with a very long tail at the top end. But I'm trying to remember I also asked him the amount where I could calculate the amount they made per month. I think it was like $6,000 or $7,000 a month. I need to double check that one, but
I charge $50 an hour.
you charge $50 an hour. You should raise your rates.
Yeah, I believe I give a really shitty hand job. All right.
But usually the rates are around, like, if you want a median escort in a big city, it's usually $400 to $600.
A city, so the urban, four to 600
in a big city. But like smaller cities, the rates go lower.
So that's so fascinating. What's like the most you've ever seen somebody charge?
I think I am.
You're like the.
But at this point, it's because I'm post work. Like I can just put it in a say number.
Does does the fact that you're sort of like a sexuality expert, like a researcher and so on, like your mind is fascinating as well, and you're a bit of a celebrity. Does that play into it?
Yeah.
Or do you feel the celebrity now, like when you're with people?
Yeah, absolutely. Usually, if people are interested in hanging out with me, it's because of that. But that's different. Like, I think besides the fun part, like this is a kink as opposed to this is a job. Like with this is a job, usually the high end is closer to $2,000 an hour, like the very high end.